really tired of starting it the same way over and over. It's just like, hey guys, welcome. Like, it's kind of just tedious. You ever do something a lot to the point where you're just like, you know what? I want to mix it up a little bit. Start fresh, kind of. Maybe. Anyone?
Yeah. I understand. It's been like 30-something episodes.
Yeah,
right?
35 episodes, 35, 36 episodes of just saying, hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the drop. You know the drill at this point. You know who we are. But we have a special guest today. But, all right. But joining us is Alex Batts. What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Pretty excited to talk about these topics. Yeah.
Are you glad to be back?
Not too much. Yeah, I am glad to be back. Yes. I mean, Andrew's not here. Someone has to say it.
Rip. He'll be back next week, hopefully. Also,
and
David Hutchison. What's up?
Guys, I'm full of chocolate and ready to talk movies.
Did you say you're full of chocolate?
Yeah. I have had so much chocolate today.
Chocolate?
I'm so confused right now. I did not know you were gonna bring up chocolate, but whatever.
And Rangers, what?
No, that movie sucks.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know there are Power Rangers fans out there, but I dislike that movie very much. Why did I?
Don't even
Donald
announce
Trump
me
when
at
I
this
said
point
that?
because I'm leaving
Morphin time.
after those comments.
No special guest.
Yep, no special guests. It's just us three. But anyway, actually joining us today and back. It's been a while since we had him on. But CabooseXBL is in the building to join us to talk about things and stuff. Dude, how are you doing? Welcome back.
Dude, I'm so excited to talk about things and stuff. I'm glad to be back, and I wish that Ander was here to hear me say that because I love saying it. You know, I'm glad
But
to
you're
be back.
excited to talk about things and stuff.
And
Stuff
things
and things.
and yeah, exactly.
Yeah, stuff
and
Things and
yeah,
stuff,
sure.
stuff and things. All the
Wrong.
things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not like a super long list today, but we're gonna go ahead and jump into the first topic of today, and that is that Joss Whedon, the director of Avengers and Age of Ultron, has been in talks with WB to direct a Batgirl movie that's set place in the DCEU. And for some reason, the response that I saw on Twitter was not the one I was expecting. Now, there are people out there that are actually excited about the movie and are excited about possibly having Joss Whedon on board, but either there are people who are upset that Joss Whedon is even in talks, the fact that a Batgirl movie is happening, or just both of those combined. And if that's the case, then I'm kind of sorry for you. You must have had a really bad day yesterday. But, Caboose, I don't think I actually saw you talk about it on Twitter, or you did. I don't really remember. But what do you think of a Batgirl movie, and do you think Joss Whedon is the right person to do this?
When I first heard the news, I just kind of sat there like in shock. I was like, "Is the Onion tweeting this? What is happening right now?" I did not know if it was real, and then you realize like Variety is reporting this. So like, wow, Joss Whedon is directing a Batgirl movie for the DCEU. That is pretty big news. I think this is very exciting for the DCEU. I mean, I don't know entirely how I feel about the idea that a Batgirl movie is being made, because who knows when it's going to happen. Maybe it'll be down the line to the point where that character is, you know, worthy of being introduced. And I am hearing that apparently they're going to go with this new 52 approach. So they're going to have like the Killing Joke exist and happen already. And that would be really cool to have that lore there set in stone. But overall, I am very excited that Joss Whedon is directing it. It's going to be interesting to see what he does with this film, because most people know I am not a fan of Avengers Age of Ultron. Like, I really, really don't like that film.
Same.
And I know actually a lot of people didn't like that film because of the whole shoehorned relationship between Black Widow and Bruce Banner. So a lot of
There's
people
a lot of
don't
reasons
have
why
much...
that movie sucks.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Ultron is the glaring issue. But people had a big problem with the whole relationship thing going on, and they blamed Joss Whedon for his writing and what he did. And the thing about this Batgirl project is he is writing, directing, and producing it. So this is pretty much as close to full control as he can get on this project. So WB is handing him the keys. Let's see what he does with it. I am still optimistic and I am excited, but I do have a bit of caution going in, just considering his track record.
Mm-hmm. David?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go into what I think of DC announcing yet another movie, because if you listen to previous podcasts, you know that I think that this is Warner Brothers moving ahead with Plan B. I know that there are people on this podcast who don't agree with me, and that's fine.
You're right.
But that's just the way I see it. I'm going through the statement in order. Joss Whedon, I mean, the last comic book movie, or okay, maybe not the last one, But he gave us the first Avengers movie, which is, in my opinion, one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. And he's a comic book fan, so we know that he can handle comic book properties well. I mean, you've got Patty Jenkins doing Wonder Woman, so you could make an argument that maybe like a female director maybe would have, I think some people would have the opinion that using a female director would have been a better choice, given that it's a female-led superhero. But I mean, we've not seen Wonder Woman yet, so we don't know like how that affects the story and how that affects like the quality of the movie. The whole in talks thing, look, 9 out of 10 times this will mean that he's probably going to sign on and end up, writing and producing and directing. But I remember like Joaquin Phoenix was in talks to become Doctor Strange, and obviously that didn't happen. So this isn't, I don't think, officially confirmed, but I think there's a damn good chance that it will. Batgirl, I don't know enough about the overall story of the DCEU yet and where they're going to say whether or not I think Warner Brothers doing a Batgirl movie is a good idea. So I'm going to reserve my thoughts on that. But as long as it fits the overall story of the DCEU, then I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought that Joss Whedon would be a good choice for any kind of DC movie. I know there are a lot of people out there saying that he would have been a better choice for The Flash. And honestly, I think that is a valid point to make.
I would have liked to see that.
Yeah, I think he would have been good for The Flash. But I mean, it's weird. Like, I'm excited for it, but there are like people out here, and I'm not saying anyone on this podcast, but just people in general who were clamoring and talking about, oh, we should get more movies with the Bat characters, and then hopefully leading up to like a Bat Family movie. And I'm not saying they're leading up to a Bat Family movie, but now that we're getting movies focused on different characters that aren't Batman, people are bitching. Why? This is what you wanted. You wanted other movies focused on other Batman characters. You're getting that, but you're complaining that you're getting it. Like, please, like, make up your mind whether you want it or not. Me personally, I'm excited. Although I do think maybe you probably don't need a Batgirl movie. Maybe have like a Batgirl / Nightwing team up movie, which would have been pretty cool. Maybe do something along the lines of that. But I guess, like, in terms of story, what they could do, maybe they could do the Killing Joke from Barbara's perspective. I don't know, maybe have like maybe the movie is kind of a flashback of some sorts to like a different part in Barbara's life, because it'd be kind of weird to have her be Batgirl now, especially when Bruce has been Batman for 20 plus years. Just having her be Batgirl now wouldn't really make sense continuity wise. I feel like she should have been Batgirl already, and now she'd be Oracle. I feel like that would make a lot more sense. But
Bat Grandma.
Bat Nanny.
I mean, in 52 she was
Bat
Oracle
Grandma.
and then became Batgirl again, so they could be like going that route.
See, I don't want that.
It could be interesting if they did it like this was her first time back as Batgirl, and she still has this struggle of, what she's gone through with the Joker, and maybe it flashes back, and we inevitably see like the Killing Joke played out in live action. Yeah. That would be really cool.
Because I feel like either way we're going to see some remnants of the Killing Joke in the DCEU. I just feel it. Just because
I agree.
I don't know. It's just a feeling I get. I mean, obviously I don't have any evidence to back it up, but it's just a gut feeling that I have. I guess in regards to Joss Whedon, I mean, I think I touched on it a little bit. He's a good director. I did like Avengers, although it is not one of the best comic book movies of all time. I'm sorry. Avengers: Age of Ultron is its own thing that I don't like. But I mean, I feel like he could do a good way to put it. I feel like he could do a good job. And can I please just touch on something really quickly? There are people who had gone to Joss Whedon's favorites and saw him fave a tweet that said, "Oh, there should be like a male version of Batgirl." It's a freaking joke. Don't take it so seriously. Lighten the hell up. Alex, on to you.
Yeah, I'm excited for another film being announced. Really, I don't know how to feel about Joss Whedon being like completely at the helm of it. I've only really seen the 2 Avengers movies and Toy Story from him. I know that he also responsible for...
Whoa. He did what now? Did you say Toy Story?
He wrote the screenplay for Toy Story.
Yo, are you serious? Yo,
yeah.
Bro, I did not know that. Which one? The first one?
The first
Dude,
one, yeah,
that's like my favorite one too. Holy crap! I did not. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm like geeking out, but go ahead, continue. That's so cool.
But I know he's also responsible for Buffy and then Firefly as well. But Yeah, I haven't seen any of those, so I can't really speak on them. I know they're really fan favorites, and a lot of people love them, so that's good. I do kind of see the argument that they should have gone with a female director. I don't really know any, like, I don't have any in mind, but I'm sure there are plenty that they could have gone with. I think it'll be interesting to see what he does with it. I do think that, like y'all said, we'll see the Killing Joke in some fashion, either in this or elsewhere in the DCEU, but yeah, I think they could have done like Birds of Prey movie instead of just a Batgirl solo movie. Kind of going off what you said about like we don't really need a complete solo Batgirl movie, but like that would have been awesome to see. And we're already getting Gotham City Sirens, so I mean, it makes sense to they can definitely do that and have it work. So yeah, but I don't really know how to feel about it other than that. I mean, I'm excited that it's happening, but I hope it comes out in a little bit. I don't want it like right now, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. These movies aren't being fast tracked. Nightwing's not being fast tracked, as far as we know. Batgirl's not being fast tracked, as well as like the other bunch of movies that DC has announced. So just because they have announced movies doesn't mean they're like, oh, we're making this now. We're making it now. They're just saying, hey, we have invested interest in bringing this property to the big screen. So this is what we're going to do eventually. That's why none of these have release dates. If they were trying to fast track them or trying to push them out as soon as possible, there would be release dates. They're hiring writers, they're hiring people to write treatments and things like that. So like I don't understand why people are like, oh, DC's doing too much. Like, no, like studios do this all the time. DC's just announcing it. Like, come on.
Yeah. I think that it's also really I'm sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, like I think it's really. I saw someone pointed out that them not having set release dates also gives them like, since they don't have a set slate, they have a creative freedom to push things back and pull other things ahead if they need to, or like that's kind of what's going on.
Yeah,
that is.
And
actually
so I like that.
Go on.
And it gives them more options. So like I think that's really cool. But
that is actually a smart move. Like I guess I get the fact that if they do announce all these release dates and then something does change, then that'll create slightly more uncertainty and more chaos than if they just have these movies but don't announce them. Because I remember Batman v Superman moved date twice.
No, just once.
And then people
move once.
Just one time.
No, it was originally 2015, and then it moved to May 2016, and then it moved to March 2016.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So they announced that, and then they moved it twice. So obviously they've learned from that, which is good. And they're saying, right, we've got these movies. We're not going to announce we're not going to announce the release dates though, just in case that gives us the freedom to move things around, which I think is a good move.
Right.
Yeah, and what I was gonna say is like, the announcement of these movies doesn't mean that like a Green Lantern Corps is not gonna happen. It doesn't mean that whatever they had planned for the Flash is not gonna happen. It just means like, oh, Joss Whedon came along, maybe had a fantastic screenplay or an idea for a Batgirl movie. DC really bought into it, and they were like, let's get this made. So let's not jump to any conclusions. There's so much stuff that happens behind the scenes with the creation of a movie that we don't know about because it's all private. This is just the bare minimum of what's probably happening right now with this Batgirl movie. Who knows? Maybe they even considered female directors and some of them turned it down, or they just couldn't find the right person to direct the film. We don't know, because all that stuff is stuff that happens behind closed doors. So, it's just, making movies is a process that is pretty much 10% in the public eye and 90% behind closed doors.
Caboose, I love having you on, dude.
A slow clap here. Couldn't have said it better myself. I had a tweet the other day with a few choice words basically saying the same thing. But I've just seen so many people complaining and saying like things along those lines, and that's just like you said, not the case. So, yeah.
Good stuff. I mean, I know it's early because it's barely a day old, but people are already like scammering around the internet, seeing which actress might be involved. And then this lady from some show called The 100, which I've never seen, by the way. Her name is like Lindsay Morgan. Apparently, she like retweeted Variety's original article. She's been faving things about Batgirl. So now everybody and their mama thinks that this lady might be attached to Batgirl in some way. I can kind of see where they're coming from, but then again, I hope she's not, because I feel like there are other choices, i.e. Emma Stone. I'm sorry, Emma Stone would be a perfect Batgirl. But do you guys have anybody in mind that you wouldn't mind seeing as Batgirl / Barbara Gordon? All I know is that it needs to be a good, well-established actress, because I am ready to see some super, super intense dialogue scenes between Commissioner Gordon and his daughter. So.
I never even considered the fact that you know, J.K. Simmons, Jim Gordon could be in the movie.
Oh, it's
Thanks for
it's
bringing
practically a
that up.
given
Yeah.
now, yeah.
Holy crap,
Yeah.
yeah. Unless they go with Stephanie Brown Batgirl, but considering they're talking about the new 52 thing, it's probably going to be Barbara Gordon, which is yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah. Any actresses come to mind, Caboose?
I mean, the first one that just kind of popped in my head is I can't remember her name.
If you say
but
Chloe
it's
Grace
the
Moretz,
actress
I
who
will literally
played-
stop this right now.
No. It was the actress who played the Pink Ranger actually in the Power Rangers movie.
Oh,
I
my
think-
girl Naomi
Well,
Scott.
the most recent, one.
Yeah,
my wife,
yeah.
yo, I swear to
think
God.
she
Oh,
could- I think she could do pretty well. I mean, considering Power Rangers had a pretty big opening weekend. You know, she's maybe got a start to her career.
Oh,
and
dude.
maybe Batgirl could be the next big step for her.
Bro, I would love that so much. I've been a
Yeah,
fan
that would
since
be really
Lemonade
cool.
Mouth, man. It's good to see that she's finally getting some shine. Oh man, David, Alex, you
Yeah.
have any actresses in mind? I mean, you can't top
think it was
Naomi
it-
Scott. I'm sorry, but go ahead and try.
yeah. It was Naomi Scott was yeah, she was on from Power Rangers, right?
No, that's totally
Yeah.
not what Caboose just
Wait.
said.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, was she not the Pink Ranger in?
He literally just said that.
that's
No, but I know that's what I'm saying. But you couldn't remember the actress.
yeah.
I said the
Naomi
actress's
Scott, yeah,
name. Oh
that's-
my god, Jesus,
Sorry, I must have missed a huge piece of
bro!
that.
I
Well,
literally
was
said her
actually-
name like 4 times.
I was looking for the actress's name, I think, at this point, and I was just so invested in finding her name that I was just like completely oblivious to anything that was actually being said.
I was a fan of Naomi Scott before it was cool. Just saying. Alex.
Yeah, I don't really know. I've seen a couple of fan casts that I'm not 100% for. Emma Stone, well, I'm sure she'd do a great job. I've seen some people saying Anna Kendrick from The
Oh,
Accountant. I don't
hell
really-
no.
No.
No?
Like, I don't see that. But yeah, I don't know. I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head. But I also didn't even think about J.K. Simmons being in this. But yeah, like you said, that's a given now, and that's awesome. That'll draw a lot of people, of course, given
Oh,
the
hell
star
yeah.
power, and that'll be really great to see.
Actually, you know what? Speaking of fan cast, well, quote unquote fan cast, Jessica Chastain has been a person that people have really wanted to see in any kind of like superhero, supervillain role. I've seen people fan cast her as Hawkgirl or even Death in the MCU and Poison Ivy, but apparently she actually would not mind playing Poison Ivy. I think she was talking to Screen Rant. I could be wrong, but she had mentioned that she likes playing really strong and powerful female characters, and that if Poison Ivy is a character that fits into that category, that she would love to play her. And I mean, I think that'd be perfect. She's a damn good actress. She has natural red hair. I think she can pull off the seductive / sexy side of Poison Ivy, which is basically the whole side, if you ask me. She's a very interesting character when it comes to that. But Alex, do you think that Jessica Chastain?
Interesting.
Yeah, I had no other word to use besides interesting, so that's just there. But Alex, what do you think of Jessica Chastain as possibly being Poison Ivy? Would you want to see that?
I feel like I'm in the minority by saying like no.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I love Jessica Chastain. I do think she's a phenomenal actress, and I don't know. I don't see her as Poison Ivy for some reason. I don't have I always say this. I don't have a replacement. I can never think of ideas on my own for like casting, but yeah, I don't see it for some reason.
I mean, honestly, like I do think that Jessica Chastain won't play this character, but if I had to choose somebody else, probably like Natalie Dormer from Game of Thrones.
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like she would be really good.
Yeah.
I feel like she could pull that off. Caboose, what about you? What do you think of that?
I mean, just speaking on the news in general, like, yeah, it's cool. She's totally now opened her interest to playing the character, but plenty of times we've had an actor like, you know, I would really like to play this character. Like, all right, guys, I'm officially coming out on this podcast. I would love to play the Batman in the 2030 reboot. So just
Yeah,
putting it
no.
out there. If anyone wants to write an article or anything, like,
Exclusive.
I'm just letting you know. But yeah, I think she would be all right as Poison Ivy. I don't really have any complaints. I don't really have any other actresses in mind on who could play the character. All I know is whatever's going on with this Gotham City Sirens movie, I'm pretty excited for, and you know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I would be open to it.
Have they announced like with the lineup for Gotham City Sirens? 'Cause I know the typical lineup is Harley Quinn, Catwoman, and Poison Ivy, but have they said anything about like Batgirl or Oracle or anything like that?
I don't know if anything's official, but I do remember seeing that it was mentioned like Catwoman, Poison Ivy, and Harley would be the Gotham City Sirens. I don't know for sure though.
Okay, because I think didn't David Ayer like tweet out a picture? I don't know if that-
He tweeted out a picture of Black Mask. And I
Oh,
remember everyone was
right,
going a little
right.
crazy. Like, is he going to be the villain? So
I freaking love Black Mask. I'm ready for that.
I would love to see that. Yeah.
David, what say you, man?
Sure, why not?
All right, moving on.
I mean, we're,
Short and sweet.
I mean, we're gonna get about 10 other actresses who say they're open to playing Poison Ivy. I still think doing Gotham City Sirens is a horrible idea, but Jessica Chastain's a great actress, so sure, why not?
Well, why do you think? I mean, just say what you want to say, like really quickly, because I want to get to this next topic, because I feel like we're gonna talk about this for a while. But like, why don't you think that Gotham City Sirens is a good move for DC to do?
I just think, like, I don't think Gotham City Sirens was a movie that they originally intended to do. I think they were like, oh, people like Harley Quinn, let's just shove a Harley Quinn movie with these other people in there. And I just don't think, like, I mean, that's all I really have to go on right now. But just based on how they were just like, oh, yeah, people liked her, let's just give her own movie. Just like the fact that they did that so, like, easily, and they just kind of, like, pushed it in the DCEU, kind of says, right, well, do they even... Is that movie going to serve the overall story? Like, because you
Margot
can...
Robbie.
It's
Because
all
you
about
can shove it in
expanding the
so
universe,
easily.
really. I mean, you can introduce a lot of characters in a Gotham City Sirens, like Black Mask, for example, Catwoman, Poison Ivy, and other characters that we don't even know who are gonna pop up in the movie. It's all about world building, really. But I mean, honestly, I think out of all the movies that DC has announced so far, the one that makes the least amount of sense to me is Deadshot. That makes no sense whatsoever. I don't even think it's gonna happen. It's not. We're not gonna see a Deadshot movie. It's not happening.
I think the only reason that's even on the board is because, like, the redeeming thing that everyone liked about Suicide Squad, even the people that hated the movie, was Will Smith as Deadshot. And because Will Smith is, like, one of the last living actors just his name gets people to theaters. So that's probably why the Deadshot movie is even a possibility at this point.
I agree. I don't think it's a Deadshot movie. This is the thing. It's like, oh, DC are like, oh, do a Deadshot movie, and now it's like, wait, are we really doing a Deadshot movie?
they're like, nah.
Did we literally just say that?
No. I honestly,
shareholders.
I hope to God that doesn't happen, honestly. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to the last topic, which is a kind of a topic that's broken up into two parts. We'll talk about the second half later. But as you all well know, a Venom spin-off movie is happening at Sony. They want to, for some reason, build a Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man. And also alongside Venom, they want to do a Black Cat and Silver Sable movie. I have no idea who Silver Sable is, so don't ask me. But I think John Watts, the director of Spider-Man Homecoming, said that Venom is not a part of the MCU in any way, shape, or form, and that the movie is going to be more of a horror movie than a superhero film, which I'm okay with. I like that. They're going to go for like a hard R rating, which I think would actually serve a character like Venom really well. But, I mean, like, how do you guys feel about this? Because, I mean, this means that we won't see Venom in the MCU. This is it. Like, if we're ever going to see Venom in the MCU, it's going to be a long time after this movie comes out, because I think, as we all well know, if, like, a studio doesn't make a movie off a certain character, the rights kind of revert back to its original owner, i.e. Marvel,
right.
Which means they would go to the MCU. But, yeah, that means Venom's not in the MCU, so, Caboose, what do you think of that?
Everything about the idea of this Venom movie that they're coming up with has me very intrigued, but it's the simple fact that it means he won't be in the MCU that completely turns me off from this idea.
Right.
Because it all makes sense, though, an R-rated Venom movie that's like a horror movie, maybe even Carnage is in there to warrant this extreme violence. It's like, yeah, but obviously Disney wants no part of that whatsoever. And Sony is basically at this point trying to capitalize on the success of Deadpool and Logan being two back-to-back films that were rated R, that were extremely successful at the box office. And I understand that. I mean, you can't blame them for wanting to try this because it seems to be a formula that's really working right now. But I would have loved to see Venom in the MCU, going toe-to-toe against Spider-Man, maybe having members of the Avengers fighting against him. I would have really loved to see that. Hopefully, this doesn't mean the worst for some of his other Rogues Gallery members, like Green Goblin or something, or Dr. Octopus, because if so, oh my god, like, what was even the real point of having Spider-Man in the MCU besides, like, yeah, he's going to be with the Avengers? Because just the idea of his Rogues Gallery being there and having those villains a part of that universe as well is such a big part of that deal. So I don't know how I really feel about it. What I would like to see is if they did like a Flash Thompson Venom, because maybe then you get some violence with him going to war and everything like that. That would be pretty cool.
Agent Venom.
But yeah, but I just it really, really bugs me that this is just something that's disconnected from the MCU, because and it's probably it was probably the deal when they signed Spidey to go to the MCU. They were like, listen, you can have Spider-Man, but you gotta let us do these things, and we have to be allowed to have them separate. So it is what it is, I guess. I'm intrigued by the idea. I'm completely turned off that it's disconnected from the cinematic universe.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me why they would want to say, oh, so you can have the main guy, but we're gonna keep all the characters that people actually want to see with Spider-Man. You can have like Mary Jane, you can have like that, but we're gonna keep Venom, Carnage, Black Cat, Dr. Octopus, like all like the cool villains for ourselves because we're greedy people. But Alex, what do you think of Venom? I'm running out of words here, man.
I actually love this idea and kind of what we've heard so far for it, because I mean, yeah, it is a bummer that Venom's not going to be attached to the MCU, but personally, I don't think that I would get to see the Venom that I would want to see if he was in the MCU. So
that's an interesting point. I didn't think of that.
Like letting Sony do a hard R Venom, and giving them creative freedom, and like you said, Caboose, following the footsteps of Deadpool and Logan's success, which are both R-rated. But I mean, that's not what made them successful. It's if they can actually find a story and make a great film with Venom in it.
Yeah.
Then I mean, I'm all for it, and I think that would be great. But yeah, it not being connected, it's kind of a bummer. But I think there's definitely enough Spider-Man characters that they could use to build their own universe. I don't know if thinking about how the deal was possibly worked out between who can use what characters and the extent of it all, it hurts my head. But I think that if they do have access to certain ones, like maybe they can use the alternate Spider-Man from different universes. I don't know, but there's definitely plenty that they can pull from if they have the rights to it to kind of do their own thing with the movies. And I think that if they just kind of do that and make them really great films, then I think that would be awesome.
It just doesn't make any sense to me, it's like, oh, we're gonna make a Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man. That's like saying, oh, we're gonna make a Transformers movie, but nothing but Megatron, nothing but Decepticons. We're gonna do a Batman movie, but we're only gonna have a movie focused on Clayface,
Or they're gonna make a Joker movie that's completely departed from the Batman character. It's like those characters.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you might be able to pull that off. You might be able to pull that off. It's just. I was gonna say that too,
Joker,
but I don't know.
A character like Joker or Venom, like some of these villains, some of these characters, they feed off of the character of Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man that introduces us to those characters, and it's that interaction that lets us, start to gain interest in those characters. Not to say that they're not interesting and they don't have interesting stories, but I just think the Spider-Man character is so central to the importance of those characters. So, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. I'll still go out and watch a Venom movie if it's departed from the MCU either way. So, take with that what you will.
Yep. David, what do you think, man?
Yeah, you guys kind of covered it. I mean, Venom not being part of the MCU allows Sony to obviously make it R-rated, which, given the choice between an R-rated Venom and a PG-13 Venom, I would go with R-rated. If it was in the MCU, it would definitely be PG-13 to fit in, in keeping with the tone of the other movies, which I think you could do a PG-13 Venom, but I mean, much like Logan, it would be far better with an R rating. But one thing you have to keep in mind is just because it would be rated R doesn't automatically mean that the film's going to be good.
Sure, yeah.
It could still be a hot mess of crap. It would just be an R-rated hot mess of crap. So I mean, the whole Flash Thompson versus Eddie Brock thing. Flash Thompson is in Spider-Man: Homecoming, so I think that it'll be
good point. Good point.
It'll be Eddie Brock.
Very good point.
You could have Miles Morales, I guess. You could have a Miles Morales Spider-Man in the Sony universe, but you've got a risk of it being too messy with different Spider-Man running around and stuff. So I'm up for a Venom R-rated film by Sony. I mean, a lot of people were saying, oh, Sony wrecked Spider-Man. Sony shouldn't handle Spider-Man. Like, do you remember, like, the first Spider-Man movie that Sam Raimi did, the second Spider-Man movie that Sam Raimi did, the first Amazing Spider-Man movie, were all great Spider-Man movies that Sony did.
Hey, man,
But, yeah,
I'm just going to say, I enjoyed Spider-Man 3 for what it was. Just saying.
So did I.
I actually
So
really
did I.
really
like
like
the
that
Amazing
movie.
I
Spider-Man
think
2,
everything leading up
while we're throwing
to
that out there.
everything leading up to Venom in Spider-Man 3, I was for the most part enjoying, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much exactly what happened with Sam Raimi. It was like he was making the movie he wanted to, and then Sony came along and were like, you know, you're gonna put Venom in there, and he was like, I don't wanna, and they're like,
You're
I
gonna
think you're
do
gonna
it.
do it,
And you're gonna
and he's
like
like,
it.
I guess I'm gonna
Yeah.
do it. So
Yeah. So, I mean, it could work R-rated. It could not work R-rated. I'm up for seeing where they're going with their own universe. We'll just have to wait and see.
But
Yeah.
actually, there is another portion of Spidey things that I want to talk about. And David, you have the quote, don't you? Like saying
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Word. All right. So basically,
So-
while he's getting that, and I haven't
it.
read the quote myself or even seen the interview where she said this, but there is a little bit of worry amongst the fans of the comic book movie genre, if you can call it a genre, I don't really care, that Spider-Man might be leaving the MCU after Homecoming 2, Spider-Man Homecoming 2, and David, you have it.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, take it away.
Got it. So, Amy Pascal said this. One of the things that I think is so amazing about this experience is that you don't have studios deciding to work together to make a film very often. In fact, it may never happen again after we do the sequel, because Sony and Disney and Marvel all decided that the right thing to do was to allow Peter Parker and Spider-Man to be in the MCU and to work with the Marvel guys and have them produce this film. And I think that was a very rare thing for three companies to do, and a very brilliant thing for them to decide to do, because there are only so many stories that you can tell again and again and again about Spidey, and this is something that we would have never been able to do in any other way. Back to you, Josh.
See, like, damn, because like that's it's.
Is that what it feels like to be you on these podcasts?
Yeah, essentially. You didn't stutter though, so you're good. But
Yeah.
I hope that this is not true. Like that would be dumb of all of them to do, Marvel included, for them to allow Spider-Man to come in, be a part of the MCU, have him fight alongside them in Infinity War, and then just be like, hey guys, I'm peacing out, and then just goes back to the loneliness of Sony. Literally, when I heard you reading that, Hello Darkness, My Old Friend was just playing as like a constant loop in my head. Because that makes no. Why would you do that? Why would you have him alongside the rest of the Marvel characters, and then just completely pluck him away from that universe, throw him into whatever kind of thing that they're going on with Sony? Because who knows what kind of state that Spider-Man, that non-Spidey universe that Sony's doing over there is actually going to be in by the time the Homecoming 2 comes out. So I think that it would be the dumbest move anyone in that whole deal could have done. And if that's the case, then they shouldn't have even done it in the first place. David, what do you think, David?
I mean, yeah, when Sony and Marvel did this deal, it was never meant to be... It was never sort of originally going to be a permanent thing, you know? Much like, you know, an actor's contract isn't permanent, it's for a set number of movies, and then once those movies are up, then something else could happen. Amy Pascal didn't say that we are pulling him out of the MCU. She said that, you know, that it may never happen, it may not happen again after the sequel. But I mean, contracts can be renewed. You know, I think at the end of this contract, Marvel and Sony are going to sit down and be like, you know what, Spider-Man in the MCU benefits both of us. Cool. New contract written up. Spider-Man appears in Avengers 5 and 6. That's what I think is going to happen. But let's assume for a second that he does exit the MCU. Okay, Tom Holland is currently contracted for 3 solo Spider-Man movies and 3 appearances in Marvel movies. So Civil War and Infinity War. And remember, the way these contracts work is Marvel doesn't have to use Tom Holland for 3 movies if they don't want to. They could just have him in Civil War and Infinity War and just finish there. So they don't have to have him in the 3rd movie if they don't want to. I think he will appear in Avengers 4 in some way. So you could have Spider-Man Homecoming, which would be one of his 3 solo movies, and then have the second solo Spider-Man film in, like, let's say 2020, right? Which is influenced by the events of Avengers 3 and 4. And then the third solo movie, let's say, like, I don't know, 2022, 2023, could just have no mentions or cameos or references to the MCU, and that's how you take the third solo movie out of the MCU. And then the only people that would be aware that it's not in the MCU are the people who follow these comments in the news, because it's the same actor. You're still going to have Tom Holland. So people will automatically look at Tom Holland and they'll just assume, oh, that was the guy from Civil War and Infinity War. So yeah, sure, it's in the same universe. But overall, I think they will end up renewing. I could be wrong, in which case you just don't have any mentions or references to the MCU in the third solo film. And that's how you take him out of that universe.
That's the thing's dumb. Alex.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really, I think you made a great point, David, about they'll definitely sit down and see what this deal has done for both of them, and then they'll probably end up renewing it or doing something to that extent. But I also think that it'd be a possibility for them to not have just a complete Spider-Man solo movie. Maybe at whatever point in time they're far enough in the universe where he could possibly lead a different Avengers team. Like, they could have a separate one, kind of, because they have multiple Avengers teams in the comics, so they could be going that route. But I don't know. I do think it would be kind of dumb to just take him out of the MCU completely, because obviously he's going to have a huge impact in the universe while he's there. And so for him to just disappear, I think that would be a really, I don't know how they would handle that exactly. But yeah.
Stupid. Caboose. Sorry, God, man. The fact that this is even a topic pisses me off.
Well, see, the thing is about this is it's exactly like a contract would be for Chris Evans playing the Captain America character. He's contracted, I believe, to where his last appearance in Infinity War would end his contract. That doesn't mean that after Infinity War, no more Captain America. There's so many things that can go on. You know, maybe he's going to sign a new deal, which is supposedly rumored. I don't know. But it's the same thing. To be honest, Amy Pascal should have not even mentioned this.
Right.
This is something that you're supposed to just keep under wraps, because you put something out there and people are going to go crazy. Right now, what we're talking about is something that is 4 movies and 2 years down the road. This is Spider-Man Homecoming, Avengers Infinity War Part 1, maybe even Part 2, and then the Homecoming sequel, which I believe is slated for July 2019, if I remember correctly.
It is.
So we're thinking 4 movies down the road. Who knows what's going to happen in 2 years' time? Who knows? Maybe even when Homecoming comes out and it has an insane opening weekend like it's probably going to, then Sony can be like, all right, this worked. Spidey in the MCU is what's getting people in the seats at the theaters. Let's go over to Marvel. Let's sign another deal. Let's extend this contract. That is almost guaranteed what's going to happen. And I think the reason that Amy Pascal ended up saying this was simply because she wanted to cover her own ass in case Spider-Man Homecoming is a complete flop and it does terrible at the box office. You know, it would be an anomaly, and there's no chance it would happen.
I mean,
but in the case,
it might have. No.
Yeah, I mean, even Amazing Spider-Man 2, a lot of people really didn't like it, and even then, that movie made bank at the box office. So,
yep.
Yeah, it made like well over 700 million, if I can remember, right?
Okay.
Like, it did well. Spider-Man is the most sellable character. Him and Batman, like, you can make a movie about him eating cereal for 2 hours. People will go watch it. Like, it does not matter. So, him and Iron Man in the marketing and everything, people are going to go out and watch it. The only reason I think Amy is saying this is because she's, like, covering herself in case the movie doesn't do well. Then, yeah, after the Homecoming sequel, Spider-Man's probably just going to slowly be removed out of the MCU without many people noticing. The same way David is mentioning, where it'll kind of just be like, they won't even mention it. He's just not in the MCU anymore, and that's that.
That would be horrible. Just saying. I'm sorry. I just think that'd be so stupid. But I totally get what you guys are saying, you know, especially about them, the strong likelihood of them saying, the Marvel and Sony sitting down and saying, hey, look, you know, people really enjoy seeing Spider-Man in the MCU. You know, it's making us money. It's making you money. Let's just keep this going. Yeah. You know, without, you know, it's not, you know, it's no problem. Let's just do it. Let's just hash out a new contract. boom, bam, blammo. There's now like
And-
5 more times that we're gonna see Spider-Man in the MCU. But I do like the idea of
Tom-
having him lead a team of Avengers. I think that'd be kind of cool.
I'd love to see just the new Avengers film after Infinity War. You know, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Spider-Man, and Captain Marvel, and all those characters.
That would be dope.
That would be like amazing.
And the cool thing
Plus,
about
Tom
it is that
Holland's
they
like.
wait, what?
I was gonna say Tom Holland's like 3 years old, so he's got like years, years he can be playing this character, and he does. Well, he's like 20 or something, right? So
He's in the womb, I think.
He's in the womb.
yeah. Who's Tom Holland? I don't think he's born yet.
A little fetus in that little costume.
But you could have him. Like, I think Marvel and Sony, when they cast Tom Holland, they nailed Peter Parker and they nailed Spider-Man, because like you get some people who are like, okay, I think Tobey Maguire was a better Spider-Man, but Andrew Garfield was a better Peter Parker, that kind of thing. Like, I think with Tom Holland, they nailed both Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and he's like 20 years old, so you could have him like kind of almost do what Hugh Jackman did and just play Spider-Man for like 17 to like another 20 years. That's like another another 4 Avengers films, another like 4 Spider-Man solo films. So you could see him for like many more years to come.
Yeah. And back to the whole like new Avengers thing. The cool thing about it is, honest, they could do that, especially because they've casted big names like Benedict Cumberbatch. You've got Brie Larson, Chadwick Boseman, who plays Black Panther. If they wanted to do a new Avengers movie and kind of just have like the old Avengers, like I'm about to call him Thor and Hulk, and like have them like go somewhere and have the new Avengers. I just almost called him Horror. You can do that, and it could actually end up being really cool. So I would like to see something like that. But I guess that is it for today. 3 topics, 3-ish topics. We talked about more things than that. But I want to thank Caboose for joining us today. Thank you for coming back to hang out. I'm actually planning a little something with you, me, Casey, and another person. Which would be very interesting. But
I don't even know about this.
Yes, but
this is the first time I'm being told.
Tell people where they can find you at on the interweb and discuss your YouTube channel.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you. They can find me on YouTube at CabooseXBL, covering Injustice 2, Spider-Man PS4, and doing all sorts of stuff for the comic book movies as well. You can find me on Twitter at Caboose_XBL. The Instagram is the same and then I'm also on Facebook, but we don't really talk about that all that much.
Tumbleweeds everywhere.
Tumbleweeds everywhere, man.
Hey, quick question. What the heck is going on with Spider-Man PS4? I have not heard a single thing.
I wish I could tell you. I don't know anything either. All I know is apparently Insomniac is working on it, and it's probably not going to come until next year.
Well, that sucks.
I'm just saying, don't get your hopes up. We haven't seen anything, and we're moving into the summer already, so I don't think it's going to come out this year.
Fingers crossed for E3, maybe? I don't know. But
that would be huge. I mean, we might see it at E3. Even if it's coming out next year, we might see it. So, who knows?
Yeah. Alex.
You can find me on Twitter at APBatman with 2 T's. Come by, talk comics, movies. You can also find me on the weekly comic roundup here from The Drop with Ander, where we talk about the week's releases in comics. So yeah.
Do it. It's on the channel. You can check it out. David.
Twitter and Instagram at DavidHutchison_. And Josh, are we gonna announce that thing?
Not yet. We gotta.
I mean, what?
Not wait. What?
Gonna,
what? Yeah, not
I'm
yet.
gonna take a sip of water.
Yeah. I like to tease it, but we are doing a little something different that will be on.
You
Fridays.
can find me somewhere else.
Yeah.
Somewhere else soon.
Yeah, we find him somewhere else weekly. But Jesus, we could have done a better job at trying to promote that, but whatever. You can find me on Twitter at really sharp. That is SHARPE. You can find me on Instagram at DCU News, and as always, keep it locked to thedropnews.com for the latest news and everything. We'll see you guys later. Peace.